Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to this afternoon's webinar. And as you can see on the screen in front of you, it is on the data management tool. My name is Matt. I'm going to be guiding you through the data management tool today so we can teach you how to be more efficient with the data that you hold on your systems and what exactly you can do to potentially increase the speed and efficiency of the data that you have. So less about processing today, more about kind of management as a whole. What are we going to be looking at? Well, first off, we're going to be looking at why. Why do you want to manage your data? Then we'll move into what is the data management tool? What does it do? Where do you find it? Then what are the steps in data management? How to access the data management tool? And then we're going to move into the demonstration of the data management tool. Now today is scheduled for half an hour, but we'll probably get some time back on that if I'm honest with you, because it's quite a quick demonstration, because we don't go into great detail about each individual area, because the tool does that for you. So it's a great asset to use in order to free up time within your day, but also keep your records nice and tidy, because we like nice and tidy records, don't we? So housekeeping. If you've been here before, you'll know the rules. If not, these are the rules. So your microphone's automatically muted. We're not going to hear you cough or sneeze, don't worry. You're not going to interject or interrupt at all. The handout is attached. It's in black and white and in colour. It contains some helpful links for you to click on. So during the webinar, if for some reason you get taken away from the screen, you will get a recording sent to your email afterwards, but you'll always have that handout as well to refer back to, which the black and white version is on there just in case you want to print it out. Not only that, we've got a speech bubble there with a question mark in. That's for me. So today I'm going to be handling all of your questions. So thank you for your patience in advance. I will be prioritizing questions about the data management tool first in data management. If there's any questions that can't be answered during this session, I'll follow up after with an email for you with an answer, or point you in the right direction of where you can get your answers. But again, just bear in mind that it is just me today. So thank you for your patience in advance. Speaking about patience, I've been speaking there for 2 solid minutes. Let's move on to the subject at hand, shall we? So the first thing that we wanted to cover was why. Why manage your data? Well, to be honest with you, it's a completely optional process. You don't have to do it. It's obviously recommended so you don't have to tidy your room, but it's nice to, and it keeps things where you can see them, and it makes things easier to find. It also keeps your data relevant. So all your data is up to date. There's no searching through pages, information, going from module to module on the left-hand side, looking for things. It's just there. It can speed up your searches. So I use this analogy quite a lot. Sage as a library, a little librarian. Your program is the library, and your company is all the books, all your data. The less books there are, the easier it is for the librarian to find what they need to find. You're making Sage's job easier by having less to look through. So if you're sitting there clicking on a report and 5 minutes later it's still not loaded, there's a multitude of things that could be wrong. But if you've got a lot of data, that's definitely one of the factors that a technician would tell you. And as a former technician, that's exactly where I would be pointing you at in the first instance. Next, avoid errors. Again, there's less chance of you getting records confused or anything like that at all, the more kind of trimmed down your data is. Some see this as a negative, some see it as a positive. I see it as your decision, but it removes data permanently from your company. Once it's gone, it's gone. To me, if you look at my desktop, they're quite efficient. I like that it's not there anymore because I can't cross any information over. Some people like to keep it for records, but during this webinar, I'm going to show you how you can keep records anyway and just not have it in your actual live data. And while there's actually no limit to the number of records and transactions you can store within your software, it must be noted that large volumes can affect the speed in which your program operates. Other things come into the consideration as well. So your internet speed, for one, not just its speed, but its connection. Has it got a solid, consistent connection? Because even if you've got the fastest internet in the world, loose connections can cause Sage to work a bit slower. Not only that, you've got to think about your hardware, your laptops, your PCs, your network, etc., etc. Today, we're going to talk about what Sage can control, and what Sage can control is help you manage that data. So when you process things such as backups, VAT returns, year ends, that kind of thing, hopefully you'll see a benefit. Now, as I say, we don't have this is how much Sage can take when it comes to volumes of data. But on the right-hand side of this slide, you can see they're the recommended limits. I'm not going to read them out to you. Pretty sure you can download the handout and you'll have them there as a record, or you can click on that click here for data limits and they'll take you to the Help Center article. But if you keep that as reference and share it with your colleagues, you'll be able to see whereabouts you are. And if you're approaching or have exceeded any of those numbers and you are experiencing less than satisfactory speeds, it's probably going to be why. So in order to combat that, use the data management tool. Now, what is it? It's a feature that became available in 28.1. It's just designed basically to make your processing as efficient as possible and to guide you through a process, as the wizards do within Sage. Does the majority of work for you. It takes the manual aspect out of it, so that you're not introducing human error, especially when you do deleting records. You want to keep it as efficient and accurate as possible. Deleting the wrong thing is not really an option, is it, if we're honest? Now, it does speed up tasks and it can make things a lot more streamlined. And again, why to use the tool and not do things manually is because you're guided through it. You're handheld, messages telling you what's happening and what's going to happen next, etc. Again, at the demonstration, we'll go through that. Now, what are the steps in data management? There are things that you can do manually. So the first thing is backup. Obviously, you've got to be logged in as manager or have the relevant permissions granted by the manager, but backup. Before you delete anything, the most sensible thing to do is to take a copy of what you're about to delete, because if you delete too much, just restore back to that backup. It's a lot easier to do that than it is to re-enter 20 different suppliers or customers. It's 4 clicks to restore a backup. And in this instance, it's 1 click to take one. Yes, if you're approaching this for the first time and you haven't been managing your data, then it might take a while depending on your data set. But once it's done, it's done. So put some time aside and get that backup done. Then archive. Again, must be logged in as manager or have the relevant permissions, but archive your data. Keep that, record, that read-only copy of your data from that point. Again, saved in the archive folder, so it's not going to be a problem for you. It's not going to affect the speed of your program whatsoever, the archives. Again, you can do that completely manually. So the first one will be file backup, and the second will be tools period, and then archive company. That will be the manual option. Further steps after you've done that in the tool, you'll be presented with this screen, which we'll see in the demonstration. It'll be a lot clearer in the demonstration. For some reason, that's a bit fuzzy. I think my connection might be a bit weak. But it'll offer you the option of clear audit trail, delete your invoices, review your customer records before you delete them, and review your supplier records before you delete them also. They're the steps. Now, as you can see, quite blurrily on the right hand side there, next to the clear audit trail, you've got a blue exclamation mark. That means you're approaching. If ever you see a blue eye, that means you're approaching the limits. Green tick, guessing we can all know what that means, and that is, yep, you're fine, you're all right. And then that red amber exclamation mark at the bottom means you exceeded it. So if this picture was a little bit clearer, you'd see 5,001 supplies there instead of 5,000. But again, during the demonstration, we're going to have a closer look at this, so don't fret. But these are the areas in which the data management tool will help you relieve records. It doesn't go into products or anything like that at all. It goes to the 4 main areas that can cause issues. Your audit trail, which is your transactions, your invoices, which is obviously your invoices, and your customer and your supplier records. There are rules before you delete any of the records in front of you. Again, we'll go through that. Have no fear. So, how do you access the data management tool? Well, relevant permissions, of course, always. So settings, if you're clicking along, settings, company preferences, parameters, and then enable data management, bottom right there. Once you've done that, it monitors the number of records that you have. And when it approaches the recommendations, you see a notification in the top right hand of your software. That notification's there on the left hand side. It says View Data Management with a little spanner. And if you see that notification, make sure that you're logged in as manager, click on it, and it'll basically take you to the data management tool and show you where you're approaching or exceeding the limits recommended by Sage. Remember, these aren't hard and fast rules, but it's the recommended. And if you are suffering from slower speeds, running reports, etc., this is the first place that will point you in the direction of, is this enabled? Have you been warned? Or have you just accessed it manually and had a look yourself? How do you access it manually once you've done that? So once you've enabled the data management tool, tools, period end, data management. There's a theme with period end there. Because not only in there can you run your month end and year end, but you can also do your archive. You can also clear your audit trail. So for me, if it's always about data management, that's where the data management tool lies, but you want to be looking at that kind of area if you want to do things specifically. So if you didn't want to manage your data and you just wanted to archive your company, you know it's going to be somewhere in the period end because it's one of your period end jobs. So after 11 minutes now of me speaking to you, let us go to the demonstration and let's have a look. Again, it's quite a quick demonstration. It's quite a quick webinar, but let's have a look. Sage 50 should be in front of you now. I'm logged in as manager, always. And as you can see, we're going to go to Tools, Period End, Data Management. And that is because I have it active in my company preferences. So what I did there was clicked on Settings, Company Preferences, Parameters, and then I've double checked it here. Now it's ticked by default. You shouldn't have to go in there and tick it. If it has been unticked, it's because it's been unticked physically. Now you shouldn't have to do that. But let's just say you have to. All you've got to do is put a tick in that box. Click OK. So that was settings, and then in company preferences, enter your password in, as you always have to with company preferences, and parameters, and then bottom right here. Now we're going to be running a webinar on company preferences shortly. Those dates are to be released, so check the webinar schedule. Michael and myself will be going through a lot of background stuff with Sage and the program itself to help you get on top of things and help you run Sage a lot smoother. Looking at VAT, looking at what you can do in parameters, etc. All these lovely buttons here. What do they mean? What do they do? But today, let's focus on enable data management. So I've got that enabled, so that's going to work. So then tools, period end, data management. And you're going to be presented with this screen here. Now, like I've just explained to you on the slides that we've gone through, this is it in a more succinct, kind of concise message. Data management takes you to safely removing old transactions and records. Maybe not just old, maybe ones that you just don't want anymore to a certain date. You know, maybe you just run year end and think, right, let's have a clear out. So compliance, to note there, the blue I. So for compliance purposes, keep regular backups of your data. Again, strong recommendation from everybody at Sage that provided you have backups and or company archive, you don't need to retain any historical records in your live company data. Again, accurate, because if you've got backups and you've archived your data, they're your copies. So in your live environment, you maybe want to keep that a little bit trimmer so things work quicker. Again, it's up to you. These are not things that you have to do, they're just recommendations. So let's move on with the demonstration. So we've read this, we'll click continue, and this is where it presents me with the options. Now, because I regularly take backups when I'm doing changes and what have you, you may have noticed this is not grayed out, the continue button here. Yours, if you haven't done a backup recently, will be grayed out. Sage Data Management Tool will not let you progress unless you take a backup. That's how pivotal it is before you delete records. So the first thing that you'll do is click backup. In this instance, what I would do, depending on your data size, is do data files, because that's what we're going to be looking at here. You may want to select all, but definitely data files. If you select all, there's nothing wrong with that, because what you're doing is you're taking a copy of all of these things as well. Your report files, your transaction attachments, your archives, everything like that at all, your reports, you will be taking a backup. Data is the quickest one in this instance, so I'm going to choose data. What I might do here is call this free data management, so I can identify it. I know what it is when I come to look for it. So I click OK. Sage will check my data to make sure that there is no problems to report on the data files, which there isn't. Just again there, small data set, so it wasn't too long. Yours could probably take, depending on the data size itself, 5-10 minutes if you've never done this before. Then archiving, as it says there, is optional. I don't know why you wouldn't. Archive your data, create that read-only copy. Again, what you could call it here is free data manage. Why not? Click OK. There you go. Archive complete. That's a snapshot of your data. So worst case scenario, you've got a copy of it. No harm in that. Then what you'll do is you'll click continue. And here it is. This is where you will be reviewing your data management. Again, because we're in demonstration, if I was to have more than 250,000 transactions, more than 50,000 invoices, etc., my program would be running quite slow. And for you watching it, you wouldn't be very impressed if it was going to take me 15 minutes just to take a backup. So we keep the data a bit slender for this instance. So we've got green ticks, green ticks. Remember, blue eye here would be approaching, and the amber exclamation point would be exceeded. But I can still use the data management tool, even though I'm all up to date. Because maybe data isn't a problem, I just like to be efficient and get rid of certain bits of information when I don't need them anymore. So what I will do is let's say I'll have a look at the transactions. I simply click the button, clear audit trail. I then pick the date that I want to go to. Let's say I want to go to April of this year, 1st of April 2025. So it warns us, transactions can only be removed if the date dated on or before the date specified below. It's not going to date anything in the future, obviously. Things have to be fully paid. So nothing half done. Sage doesn't like unfinished business. It has to be bank and VAT reconciled as well. Because again, Sage doesn't want to be deleting transactions that potentially you might need. So if you delete a load of transactions that haven't been VAT reconciled, then you come around to do your reconciliation and half of your transactions are gone. You're not going to be very impressed. So Sage will not allow that to be done. Same with your bank reconciliation. And all allocated to transactions meeting the same criteria, if that is applicable as well. The note there says that we recommend you keep it just one financial year of live data. Again, that's just for reporting and sake of ease for yourselves, but it's down to how you process. So what I'll do is I'll say, right, okay, around my year end for April 2025, let's just get rid of all the data before that. It won't let me because I haven't actually run my financial year end. And it tells me I can only delete data from a certain point here because all the data beyond that I've processed still hasn't been reconciled, still hasn't been boxed off for its VAT or for its year-end process. So Sage is not going to allow you to delete it until it knows that data is no longer needed. So I'm going to agree with it. I'm going to say yes, okay. I'm just going to go to let's say the first 2024 there. I'm going to click clear audit trail. See what we'll go December, 2023. I'm going to click clear audit trail. As you can see here, it starts straight away. Then once it's deleted the transactions, it tells me we've got 59 transactions that have been removed from your audit trail. I want to review them, see what they were. I always tick this button. The reason for that is because it's keeping record. Because yes, I've just deleted things, but It's nice to have a record of what's deleted in case I'm looking for something and think, hang on a minute, that shouldn't have been deleted. It'll generate a report, Sage will, of everything that it has deleted here. Audit trail, as you can see, journals, credit payments, everything, bank receipts, everything that's in there. What you could do as a top tip on this one is just print or save it as a document to your desktop and put it in a folder. Call it, data management deletion with a date. And then you've got it as a record there. You might never open this ever again, but it's better to have and not need than need and not have. So then you close that. You've cleared your audit trail. All done. Click close. And now that number's gone down from 1,235 to 1,215. Same with deleting invoices. If you know, we've got 84 there. So I want to delete invoices. And this gives you a list of what it's going to delete: invoices, credit notes, invoice quotations, invoice pro formas. And I'm going to again just go up to 2023 on this one and click delete. It's deleted 78 invoices for me there in a blink of an eye. Done. I then click close and I've got 6 left. Customers and suppliers. Now there are rules to these ones. So let's have a look. If I want to delete some customers, it will only allow me to delete a customer record if there's no balance. So again, no unfinished business, 0 balance with them, or if it's not associated with a project or direct debit mandate, so something that's still not active. Because Sage doesn't want you just deleting records. You may have forgotten it belongs to a project, the customer, and it's going to cause problems later on for you, that, isn't it? So this is the reason why the program has these rules. Because when it comes to deleting records, we don't want things to just be able to just vanish. There has to be a reason for them sticking around. So then again, let's say we're going up to 2023. Review customer records. It's almost like I created this one, isn't it? It says delete me. So this record in particular has no balance, no transactions, nothing. So I will delete that record. Done. Now in yours, because I'm using obviously demonstration data that I've set up here, yours, you might have a big long list of customers there. All you have to do is delete the ones that you don't want. Nice and easy. How much quicker that is than going through your customers manually and saying, right, they haven't got a balance, they haven't got this, they haven't got that, they haven't got this. Sage is telling you, these are the customers with 0 balance, and these are the customers that have no associated project or direct debit mandate. If you can't see a customer there that you'd expect to be there, investigate it. Find out why. Same with suppliers. Same rules, no balance or transaction history. I'm going to take this up to 2023 again, because that's the furthest point in which I've ran my year end. View the records and look, I've got 3 here, delete me, removing. So I can select all, clear all, or I can just pick this one to delete. What I can't do is multi-select, so I couldn't pick delete me and remove and just leave me as. I would either have to select all, clear all, and then just individually delete these ones here. So I'm just going to select all, delete the records, gone. Now let's pretend there was a customer record that I wanted to delete and I haven't seen it in there. So if I run this, no records have been found up to the last invoice days included. So if I was to have a look at my customers, I made it quite obvious for you here. Remove me limited. I wanted to remove them, but I couldn't. And that is because they have a balance. It's because they've got an invoice outstanding. So in order for me to be able to delete them, I'd have to pay that off, marry it off. Then when I go back to tools and data management, it will then pick them up. So for example, if I was to type in here, again, I'm just doing this as a test. I'll do the old swap clear. If I was to do a new customer here, I'm going to call it Matt Test. Okay. New account, brilliant. As you can see, therein is Matt Test right there. If I go to tools, period end, data management, it's going to prompt me with this screen again. asked me to take a backup in an archive, but I'm just going to skip through these screens and I'm going to go to review my customer records. I've literally just entered that customer, haven't I? And there they are, because they've got nothing against them. So all customers and suppliers with no activity and follow these rules here will appear in this box, regardless of how long they've been in the system. Now, once you have been through everything that you need to go through, and you've reduced all of your data down to a manageable amount, close, file, maintenance, compress your data. Everything that you've just deleted, you're now going to squash it all together. Again, can free up space within your hardware to make the program run quicker. Always a top tip, that. So compress the data. Once you've compressed the data, take a backup. File, backup. Because now what you've done is essentially you've managed your data and you've got an insurance policy in that backup that you can go back to nice and fresh. You know there's no errors with it. You know it's all clean and crisp. Superb. Let's go back to the slides. So after you delete your records, compress the data to reduce the size. Again, if you use the library analogy, it's squashing the books back together, creating more room on the shelves for more data. Put it that way. Always ensure you've got an error-free backup prior to running that routine, and the option can be found in File, Maintenance, and it's just there in the top right-hand corner. So today, what have we looked at? Well, why would you want to data manage? Again, it's optional, it's up to you. It's advisable, but you don't have to do it. But use the data management tool if you're going to. It streamlines the process for you and it guides you through. You can't go wrong with it. And always take that backup first. It'll always prompt you to do that. We had a look through a demonstration. We've gone through the importance of backing up. I think all the way through it and all the way through all the webinars, we always emphasize backup. And then how to and why to compress your data. Again, no questions have come in today, so hopefully that means that everything has been answered. That potentially could have been a question. If not, fire them in now. While I'm going through the last slides, I'll come back to them at the end. But if you downloaded the handout, these are the help and resources. So click on there, it'll take you to guides. Common ones are memorized, recall, and recurring entries, how to manage those. Then what you may want to do is go to help and resources to delete old records, deleting customer and supplier records, and access rights as well, just to make sure that if you haven't got permission, you know how to get permission. Not only with the free webinars, we've got free learning content in Sage University, bite-sized video guides to help you learn all about Sage 50, what its capabilities are. And also we do the one-to-one bespoke training as well now. So if you need, an hour's lesson from one of our experts here, they will Teams call you, take over the PC with you, and they will help you use Sage personally to how you want to be using it. Not generically, but specifically how your company want to be using it. You'll know its limitations and you'll know where it can excel. A lot of people benefit from that because they find new ways to process, ways they hadn't thought of before that maybe the experts have gained through experience. But as there are no questions and we're bang on 28 minutes past 2, I'm going to thank you for your attendance today and your attention all the way through. If you could complete the survey at the end of the webinar as you leave, that would be absolutely wonderful. We read absolutely every single comment and send us webinars that you want to see. This one was one that was requested. We acted on it, we built it, and we've delivered it. So again, if you want to learn about something, tell us. No problem. We can put stuff together and put it in the schedule for you. It's what we're here for. Other than that, thank you again for your time, and hopefully I will see you soon. Have a good week. Bye for now.